team. He is leading this team. He's brought them from the bottom to now possibly they're 6-6, and that's better than they were like last year at this point. So, like he's not. It's a different kind of. It's jumping the gun on a different aspect in that he's leading his team. He's being a captain of this team, and he's only played in 12 NFL games. It's not like he's putting up 227 yards, a touchdown, and interception, but with one of the top defenses in the NFL. They're average defense at best. But he's leading them when he needs to. He's maintaining them, but he's also pushing them. He's also giving 100% and making the plays when he needs to. That's why I see it a little different from a RG3 or a Mark Sanchez. Yeah, RG3 was good. He has a good quarterback, and Mark Sanchez, I still believe, like Danny said, was the defense helping that game because, like I said, defense wins championships, and they had a great defense.
And besides, Mark Sanchez didn't really show out until his second year when he led the team to the AFC Championship. So Jameis Winston is showing the same promise that he could lead Tampa Bay to the playoffs, possibly in the next couple of seasons.
I'll give you one more example.
Oh, jeez.
Colin Kaepernick.
Hey,
and where he is now, and it's not because of injury. It's not because of injury.
That wasn't. But that's a little different. That's guy waiting on the guy waiting on the bench under Alex Smith.
He was on the bench, but I'm saying he was in his first full 16 games of work. Because remember, he came in the middle of the season. He led that team to the Super Bowl that year. Came back the next year, was still doing what he was doing. So a full 16-game length of time for Colin Kaepernick. People were talking about him as a long-term answer as well. Him being dynamic, completely different from Alex Smith.
He led his team to the NFC Championship, kind of like Sanchez did in the AFC Championship. I mean, hell, he led his team to the Super Bowl when he had to come off the bench and then led his team to the championship.
But that's the thing. On the bench, he knew what the offense he was familiar with how the team played. He was familiar with the level of play in the NFL.
But are we talking about the fact that he's on the bench? I'm only simply talking about it will only be a year. Let's not jump the gun. I'm not just talking.
Okay, that's my reason. I'm slightly jumping the gun. I guess what you're saying is my finger is on the trigger. It's not shooting the gun yet. I'm not jumping the gun yet, but I'm close to believing this because it's different. Colin Kaepernick had some NFL experience. He played in some games before. He was on the bench. He knew the offense. Jameis Winston is coming in and he's leading. He's driving this team. He is the heart of this team. You take away Jameis Winston, they go 0-4 the next games, and it's pretty solid losses.
I'm shooting the gun because
I'm not. Yes. I don't want to jump. I want to see how they finish out this year. I'm not jumping the gun.
I'm jumping the gun. I'm jumping the gun because the difference between Jameis Winston starting at quarterback and playing well this year compared to Sanchez, Kaepernick, and who else you say? You said Sanchez, RG3 is that in his first year he had a new coach. He had a new coach come in the same year Jameis Winston came in.
Lovie Smith.
So, and they're having that connection with Lovie Smith and Jameis Winston is going to lead them.
It's a new coach, but he's not a new coach. That doesn't mean anything. Anybody.
It's a new coach. It's a new coach to Tampa Bay. It's a new system that they. A new Austin. It's a new
everything for Tampa Bay. You have a new coach. You have your quarterback as number one pick.
And now this perfectly fits. This Lovie Smith style play perfectly fits with Jameis Winston.
Exactly. This is why
if they needed him to be a pocket presence and not be able to run the ball when they need to, I don't think he'd be doing this well. But with Lovie Smith wants out of him is him to be immobile, the dual threat quarterback, and it's working out for them.
And look how much Jameis Winston has matured since
coming
into
we haven't said once about his offseason outside of the game.
For God's sakes, Johnny Manziel's been in the news more often.
But
Winston has
that's a different beast.
For me, it takes at least before I can sit here and claim somebody. Like the gun, I don't even see it yet. The gun is not even anywhere in my vision. I don't know where this gun is. And I will not until probably around his third year. That's when I will make my decision on if he is. Because usually statistically, even if you go through the first year, if they do blow out and they show out, that's great. And then they have a sophomore slump. And the third year is where they're supposed to really get it, and that's where you'll see the best out of them. So in the first year, that's why I'm like, in 1 year, you come into league, nobody knows what to expect of you, what to prepare for you. You do well.
So you're telling me that no one was jumping the gun on Cam Newton when he had a successful rookie season?
There were plenty of people who were jumping on him, and sometimes
he's shown promise.
Sometimes when you jump on him, it proves dividends, and you prove right. Sometimes when you jump, you're wrong.
I understand.
So that's why I like to just wait and see.
You're 50-50, but I'm on the side. But I'm on the side where I think Jameis Winston will become a franchise quarterback for Tampa Bay.
I think I'm still, like I said, I've talked very highly of him, and honestly, that's because I was wrong. I thought Mariota was the better pick in the end, but in the beginning,
both showing promise.
Yeah, they are both showing promise. But what I'm seeing out of Jameis Winston is not blowing up stats. It's driving the team, being in that driver's seat every game, being the driving force. Because I don't think you can name one of their wins that was like one of their wins that was like, Doug Martin really just led the attack this game. Jameis Winston was kind of sat on the sideline. It was all Jameis Winston drive this. It was also like, finding a play, a key play like against the Falcons. That's why I can see the gun and my fingers on it. What if they win out?
Even if they win out, I'm still not going to. The reason why I gave the examples I gave
because they had a good first year and then a second year.
Yeah, and then they slowly just fell apart. So I'm not sitting here saying he won't be. And nothing like that. I'm just saying I'm more of the let's wait more. And see. Yeah. And I want to see more.
Here's my take. Here's how I'll stand. I'll clarify now with retrospect to what you're saying. I see a different gun, I guess you could say, than when I saw from Colin Kaepernick, RG3. I saw guys that were just putting up massive numbers a game, and they weren't exactly. They were helping the team win, but they weren't exactly the heart of the team. What I see out of Jameis Winston is he's bringing everyone together. He's driving that team. He's making this ship sail, and I didn't really see that out of Colin Kaepernick, RG3. It's just different. It's a different gun, I guess you could say. That's my opinion on it.
All I'm saying is when you have a quarterback who is the number one pick and a new coach at the same time, they've
meshed really well.
Look at how Ron Rivera and Cam Newton have come along in the last 5 years, and they've become a great team.
Great duo. That's a great duo.
It's a great duo. I see the same thing with Lovie Smith and Jameis Winston. Lovie Smith is keeping Winston's head on the right path. We haven't heard any. He has matured so much since being drafted. It is quite amazing.
Exactly.
Because we've seen all the stuff that happened to him in college,
at Florida State,
and we thought that he wasn't even going to make it in the NFL.
I personally never had that situation. Well, I thought kids will be kids.
The media.
That's my take on Johnny Manziel, but that's
but the media.
Yeah.
Thought that Jameis Winston didn't have his head on straight.
They thought he was going to do what Manziel is doing right now.
Exactly, but having Lovie Smith in there as the head coach, and
his focus has been on helping this team on winning games. There's not any I'm going to win this game, then I'm going to go party with my pals.
He's keeping his head on straight this entire way, and it's such an amazing thing to see how much he has matured since the alleged stuff that happened at Florida State.
And he's honestly he's a bigger guy than RG3. He's bigger all around, so I think he's going to be a little.
He's going to be more tough.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be tougher. Like we saw, he basically was at a 90-degree angle the other day against the Falcons. Like they started hitting him at his legs. He bent over, dropped the ball, picked it back up, rolled off the tackle, and he's just tougher than because RG3. It almost seems like he flick his kneecap and he's going to tear his ACL at some point. I think the injury. I don't know. You have to worry about that as much for Jameis Winston. He's just a big guy.
Built as a
huge
dual threat.
So
all right, fair enough. So we talked about Lovie Smith. We've talked about Colin Kaepernick. So let's talk about their old teams. 49ers.
Oh, sorry. Just one thing before we do the segue. The Falcons season is over.
We don't even talk about the Falcons. We don't need to.
We don't need to. I mean, 1-5.
Their season is over. Give Dan Quinn credit for getting 6 wins, getting more wins than last year. When the Falcons had what's his name? I don't even remember the dude's name.
Mike Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the Seahawks playing, it was I believe it was a battle between Seattle and Atlanta for the last spot in the playoff. And look how Seattle's playing right now. They're looking like the Seattle from the past 2 years. They really are. But then I'm sorry, not this topic. But that was my topic with the Falcons. It's over.
Yeah, the season's over. If they can finish out 8-8, that's a win-win. That's a win for Dan Quinn.
So 49ers, Bears. This was a pretty good game.
Yeah, that was a good game.
It was a better game than most people would have definitely expected.
Crazy ending.
Talk to me about
it. Honestly, I loved the way Blaine Gabbert played for the 49ers. He had a 40-yard touchdown run, 44-yard touchdown run. And, hey, look, they're getting production out of him that they didn't really expect after they beat Atlanta, they're like, all right, you know, we had a good first game. You know, now we'll just expect him to like maintain our team. You know, put up some decent numbers. We'll start rebuilding for next year. He's doing pretty well with them right now. And honestly, like the Bears, Jay Cutler, they just did not capitalize on the opportunities that they were given. They on last play of the game, San Francisco just tied it. Yes, they just tied it at 20. They get the kickoff. There's like 40 seconds left. 60, 70-yard kickoff return. They're on the 30-yard line with 50 seconds left on the clock. They can't even come away with a field goal. On like the 30-yard line. This is Robbie Gould. This guy, that should be automatic at this point in his career. No. Missed opportunities was the storyline for Chicago Bears this game. Missed opportunities. If you can't a 70-yard touchdown run with 50 seconds left, all you need to do is make a few runs or make a throw and get a first down with 10 seconds left. Mm-hmm. Kick a field goal and just stop them on kickoff. Thank you. But no, you can't even get a field goal after that blessing you were given with 50 seconds left on a 70-yard punt return. San Francisco 49ers, great game. Great pass to win the game by Blaine Gabbert. So, you know what? He capitalized later in the game when they needed him to. 44-yard touchdown run and then a beautiful throw to win the game. Good. This win is all San Francisco.
The Chicago Bears is known for their defense, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that goes out the door.
Get rid of that.
How in the world, in the fourth quarter, does the Chicago Bears defense let Blaine Gabbert, out of all people, score a 44-yard touchdown run when the game is on the line?
I mean,
they are
talk
no
about
longer
an open
known.
The man got wheels.
Okay, yeah. I'll give
Talk
him
about secondary open, like the open secondary in the middle of the field open. Guys, he ran 44 yards. He only had to make one guy miss.
He was sneaky athletic. He's sneaky athletic.
But you know, Chicago's known for their defense. It's the Bears, right? Defense.
Bears.
They're not that Bears anymore. They haven't been. But they always have some decent defense. Am I right? Since Lovie Smith left, no.
Well,
now look where Lovie Smith's doing right now. Hey, look, they're doing really well.
That's just terrible, man. I don't know what happened.
That C stands for choke.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, I'm gonna say this again.
Here's the thing.
Look, I could have made a 30-yard field goal. Okay, I take that back. Probably not. But, I mean, a professional kicker, a guy, Robbie Gould, that's been great he's been with them for a long time. Dude, come on, man.
Here's the thing. For goodness sakes, the 49ers offense only scored. They scored, towards in the second quarter going forward. They had the pick six in the first quarter, but then they had a 1-yard run off a 16-play, 81-yard drive. That's work for San Francisco. But and then besides that, they didn't score again to the fourth quarter with Blaine Gabbert's 44-yard touchdown run, and then the first play of the offensive possession for San Francisco, a 71-yard touchdown pass.
Torrey Smith. It was a beautiful throw, by the way. If they had a guy, Torrey Smith had a guy following him, two guys following him, but it was right on. He's going towards the line, and it was right in his pocket with these two guys right here. Just you're like, wow, Blaine Gabbert threw that. Draws the question. You think didn't that Tom Brady throw? I see Tom Brady make throws like that.
That C stands for choke because they pretty much screwed this game up, and of course you can't really do anything when your quarterback's terrible. Jay Cutler.
He's back to terrible again.
202 yards, no touchdowns, one pick of 18 of 31 passing, which is 18. Gabbert was 18 for 32, but your quarterback didn't really do anything.
No.
They choked.
And if your quarterback doesn't really do anything, then
and you're 1-5 at home. You gave San Francisco their first win on the road. At the end of the day, terrible game for Chicago. That's all I gotta say.
It was honestly a brutal game. Chicago just keeps on disappointing their fans. This is a game where you're at home. You should be able to win the close ones at home. And for them to go out and have these type of missed opportunities, there's no excuse for it. There's nobody who's going to make any excuse for it. You lost because you didn't